The traditional defense model, built around massive hardware cycles, is failing. While major contractors spend 15 years developing a single fighter jet, commercial software cycles move in weeks. In 2026, victory belongs to whoever iterates the fastest on code, not just armor plating. Legacy primes like Lockheed Martin rely on cost-plus contracts. The government pays all research expenses, plus a fixed percentage for profit. This system rewards delays and inefficiency, because the longer a project takes, the more the company earns in overhead payments. Palmer Luckey discarded this model by using venture capital to fund internal research. Anduril builds technology first with their own money and then sells finished products to the military. This places all financial risk on the company rather than the taxpayer, forcing rapid success. After selling Oculus to Facebook, Luckey saw a vacuum in defense innovation. He realized that the same computer vision and sensor fusion used in virtual reality could identify threats on a battlefield. Anduril was founded to weaponize this commercial speed. At the core of every Anduril product is Lattice, an artificial intelligence operating system. Lattice fuses data from thousands of sensors, including satellites, drones, and ground cameras, into a single common operating picture. It automates the detection and tracking of targets. Anduril views hardware as a consumable carrier for software. By treating drones and towers as nodes in a network, they can update capabilities overnight through code pushes. This is a fundamental shift from the static, hardware-centric platforms of the 20th century. The first major success was the Sentry Tower. Instead of dozens of soldiers staring at screens, one person can monitor hundreds of miles of border. The artificial intelligence identifies humans, vehicles, or animals and alerts the operator only when a real threat appears. The Ghost small unmanned aerial system uses edge computing to navigate complex environments without a pilot. It is nearly silent and can remain on station for long durations. Because it is autonomous, a single operator can manage a whole swarm of them simultaneously. The Altius series are tube-launched drones that can be deployed from ground vehicles, aircraft, or ships. They can perform intelligence, electronic warfare, or kinetic strikes. This modularity allows the military to adapt to changing mission requirements without switching platforms. Roadrunner is a vertical takeoff and landing autonomous interceptor. Unlike traditional missiles that are destroyed even if they miss, Roadrunner can return to base and land if the target is gone. This drastically reduces the cost per engagement in drone defense. Anduril expanded into the maritime domain with Dive LD, a large-diameter autonomous underwater vehicle. It can stay submerged for weeks, mapping the ocean floor or monitoring undersea cables. Its three-dimensional printed hull allows for rapid prototyping and deep-sea pressure resistance. The Fury is an autonomous air vehicle designed for high-performance combat. It acts as a loyal wingman for manned fighter jets, carrying extra weapons or acting as a sensor node. It provides the mass needed to survive a high-intensity conflict against a peer adversary. In 2026, Anduril launched Arsenal 1, a massive software-defined microfactory. It uses commercial manufacturing techniques, like those at Tesla, to produce thousands of autonomous systems per month. This solves the defense industry capacity crisis caused by artisanal manufacturing. The biggest hurdle for defense startups is the valley of death, the multi-year gap between a successful prototype and a production contract. Anduril bypassed this by selling modular services and using their cash reserves to maintain production capacity during bureaucratic lulls. Unlike the traditional primes, where leadership is dominated by retired generals, Anduril is staffed by software engineers and designers. They focus on the user experience of the soldier. The interfaces look more like modern video games than the archaic green screen terminals of the past. Anduril advocates for fixed-price contracts. They agree on a price for a capability, and if they build it for less, they keep the profit. This incentivizes the company to be lean and innovative.
the exact opposite of the cost-plus model used by their competitors.
Modern warfare requires mass. Cheap autonomous systems can overwhelm expensive, exquisite platforms. By producing thousands of low-cost drones, Anduril allows the military to take risks that were impossible when every vehicle cost $100 million. Anduril has rapidly expanded into Australia and the United Kingdom, aligning with the Trilateral Security Partnership. They are building local manufacturing hubs to ensure sovereign capability for allies. This distributed production model makes their global supply chain more resilient to disruption. The threat of small drones has revolutionized ground combat. Anduril leads this market with integrated systems that detect, track, and neutralize threats using everything from electronic jamming to physical interceptors. Their systems are currently deployed at major bases worldwide.
Anduril has not been afraid to use the legal system to challenge unfair procurement rules. They successfully sued for the right to compete on technical merit rather than legacy relationships. This legal pressure is slowly dismantling the protective moat around the traditional primes. Traditional systems send raw data back to a central server for processing, creating a bandwidth bottleneck. Anduril systems process data on the device itself using edge artificial intelligence. Only the relevant metadata is sent across the network, ensuring low latency in remote areas. The Anduril brand is deliberately different. They use high-quality cinematic trailers and bold graphic design to recruit top talent from Silicon Valley. They sell the idea of a patriotic mission combined with the technical freedom of a startup, stealing the best minds from big tech. The Department of Defense's Replicator initiative aims to field thousands of autonomous systems quickly. Anduril is the primary driver of this program. Their ability to manufacture at scale allows the military to achieve the quantity needed to deter a conflict in the Pacific. Anduril software allows different types of drones to work together as a swarm. A ghost drone might spot a target, while an Altius executes the strike, all coordinated by Lattice without human micromanagement. This increases mission success while reducing the cognitive load on operators. To avoid reliance on hostile nations, Anduril prioritizes domestic sourcing for microchips and batteries. By designing for manufacture, they can use American-made components while keeping costs competitive. This vertical integration is a core part of their national security strategy. Bollard is a small, low-power sensor that can be hidden easily. It uses acoustic and seismic sensors to detect ground movement. These sensors form a passive mesh network that is nearly impossible for an enemy to detect, providing persistent surveillance in contested zones. By spending their own capital on research and development, Anduril avoids the restrictive requirements of government bake-offs. They can build the tool they know the soldier needs, rather than the one a bureaucrat wrote a specification for 3 years ago. The success of Anduril has forced legacy primes to create their own rapid capability offices. Lockheed Martin and Boeing are now trying to emulate the software-first approach. However, their internal structures remain optimized for large, slow programs, making the transition difficult. Anduril does not aim to replace the soldier, but to augment them. By handling the dull, dirty, and dangerous tasks, autonomous systems allow humans to focus on high-level command decisions. This partnership is the defining characteristic of mid-21st century military operations. Anduril attracts engineers from Google and SpaceX by offering them the chance to work on physical hardware that matters. The mission-driven culture provides a sense of purpose that is often missing in advertising tech companies, creating a talent pipeline that legacy defense firms cannot match. Anvil is a high-speed quadcopter designed to physically ram into enemy drones. It uses terminal guidance to ensure a collision, destroying the threat without the need for expensive explosives. It is a cost-effective solution for protecting infantry from loitering munitions. Lattice is built on open architecture, meaning it can control third-party sensors and weapons. Anduril does not lock the military into a proprietary ecosystem. This interoperability allows for a modular defense posture, where new technologies can be integrated in days instead of years. Anduril leverages the global commercial supply chain for non-critical components. By using high-quality consumer electronics parts where appropriate, they reduce costs and increase reliability. They only custom-build the mission-critical sensors and secure communication modules.
Modern battlefields are saturated with electronic jamming. Anduril systems are designed to operate without global positioning systems or constant satellite links. They use inertial navigation and visual landmarking to stay on mission even when the electromagnetic spectrum is completely contested. Security is built into the software architecture from day one. Anduril uses modern encryption and multi-level security protocols to ensure that sensor data cannot be intercepted or spoofed. This cloud-native approach allows for secure data sharing across the entire Department of Defense. The Menace family of products provides expeditionary command and control. It fits in a rugged suitcase and allows a small team to manage an entire region of autonomous assets. This decentralized command is essential for the distributed operations required in the Pacific Theater. The culture at Anduril is famously casual, featuring Luckey's signature Hawaiian shirts. This rejection of the suit-and-tie military culture is a deliberate branding move. It signals a focus on results over protocol, attracting creative rebels who would never work for a traditional prime. As we move further into 2026, the disruption of the primes is complete. Defense is no longer about who can build the biggest ship, but who can build the smartest network. Anduril has proved that speed, software, and risk-taking are the new requirements for national security. Palmer Luckey did more than start a company. He restarted an industry. By breaking the monopoly of the primes, Anduril has created a more competitive, innovative, and resilient defense ecosystem. The era of the software-defined arsenal has arrived.